Laudato exauribus ecclesia.
Hey everyone, this is Braden from the Catechumen, and welcome back. Today, I would like to officially announce my debate with Redeemed Zoomer on November 14th on the Kyle Whittington YouTube channel. We're going to be debating the infallibility of ecumenical councils. Obviously, me as a Catholic, taking the historic Christian position, I will be arguing for the infallibility of ecumenical councils, and Redeemed Zoomer, as a Protestant, will be arguing in the negative against the infallibility of ecumenical councils. I'm very glad, and I appreciate Redeemed Zoomer for agreeing to do this debate with me, and for Kyle for setting this whole thing up. You'll probably recall that Redeemed Zoomer just announced recently, actually a few weeks ago, that he would be retiring from Protestant apologetics indefinitely. However, him and I had actually agreed on doing this debate prior to him getting out of the race, so to say. And so I appreciate Redeemed Zoomer for obliging, and coming on with me to talk about or to debate the infallibility of ecumenical councils. It'll be a few hours long, and there's going to be Q&A. So I guess if you're going to be tuning in live, because it will be live on the Kyle Whittington channel, make sure to, get some questions kind of queued up. Be thinking about this topic. I think this is going to be a really unique debate, because if you've seen Protestant Catholic debates on especially authority and infallibility, primarily it's been about sola scriptura, and it's been the Protestant taking the affirmative position and saying Scripture is the only infallible authority. And I was talking with a few of my friends, and Kyle was among them, and was basically saying I wish there would be more debates where the Catholic takes the affirmative in this kind of authority debate, because in my opinion, when you watch a lot of these recent sola scriptura debates, it kind of devolves into the Protestant asking the Catholic to substantiate another infallible rule outside of Scripture, whereas from the Catholic perspective, at least, it seems like that's not really the point of having a sola scriptura debate. So I thought that it might be good. I've never seen this debate proposition online before. Perhaps someone has debated this before in the history of humanity. However, I've never seen it. I've never read or listened to a debate with this debate proposition. I think the closest is Catholic Authority. Is Catholic Authority taught by Scripture? That was between Alex from Voice of Reason and James White. If you want to see my friend and I's debates dialogue about that debate, click the I at the top right-hand corner. It was me and my Baptist friend Caleb. I think that this debate will be important for a number of reasons, that being one of them, that, it's kind of uncharted territory. It's kind of like, I haven't seen a Catholic specifically give positive reasons in a debate for affirming the infallibility of ecumenical councils. Now, there might be a reason why this debate proposition has never been in an official debate. I guess we'll wait to find out. But I feel pretty confident that I'll be able to make a pretty good positive case. I just think that there will be some really constructive dialogue between a representative, I don't know what else to call us, but of the Catholic position and the Protestant side. I think that it'll be a great resource for those who are discerning between Protestantism and Catholicism. And just simply because, again, like I said, there's never been a debate like this. Catholics rarely take the affirmative in these kinds of debates. So I think it'll definitely be interesting. Some people have brought up the question of whether the debate thesis, are ecumenical councils infallible, if that is too broad, or why we chose to debate the infallibility of ecumenical councils and not magisterial infallibility or ecclesial infallibility, or in the infallibility of sacred Scripture. So I guess there's a question there as to whether this debate thesis is the framed in the best way possible. But I think that framing it in this instance kind of it is a little bit more narrow than the infallibility of the magisterium, because it sort of gives the Protestant side a target to aim towards, instead of saying, well, yes, the church is, or the magisterium is infallible in certain circumstances. It actually, the affirming the infallibility of ecumenical councils is a much narrower debate topic to discuss than the infallibility of ecumenical or the infallibility of the magisterium or the church in general. Although the principles for which I would argue for any of those is probably very similar. But just the reason why we framed it this way is because Redeemed Zoomer has done a video or two on the ecumenical councils. I've done work in the infallibility of ecumenical councils, and I've also responded to his video on ecumenical councils. And so I think it's just fitting for him and I. We've had a little back and forth, so to say. And so I think it'll be an interesting time, and it'll reveal sort of our approaches and methodologies for why we would consider something to be infallible, what are the reasons behind that, and et cetera. And so I just ask you guys, in conclusion, to pray for our preparations, pray that it's a good debate, that both sides are represented accurately and robustly. And also I just ask that you would ask for the intercessions of St. Francis de Sales and St. Robert Bellarmine, two of the most instrumental controversialists of the 16th century. They are wonderful examples of sanctity and piety, and their writings have definitely influenced my faith formation. And before we end off, I'd like to note the relevancy of this topic, because there are pretty broad-reaching implications that the infallibility of ecumenical councils, if the affirmative is proven in a decisive way, the implications of that would be pretty astronomical. First of all, the central one of the central ideas in Protestant Christianity is that the scriptures alone are infallible, and if it can be demonstrated that the ecumenical councils are infallible, obviously that would invalidate the principle of sola scriptura, considering it would be an infallible rule outside of the scriptures. And so not only would it contradict that core tenet of Protestantism, but it would also bring up the question of mechanism as to how the infallibility of ecumenical councils can work. What is the reason behind that? And if you affirm that the church can teach infallibly, then there's also that affirmation that the church is an institutional body. And if the way that the ecumenical councils functions is also authentic, that would also indicate that there is this hierarchy that is able to represent the church. And so all of that to say, this debate would indicate the erroneous nature of the typical Protestant position. Now, obviously, there are some ways that Protestants have sought to get around some of those ideas, but I really think that if you prove an infallible rule outside of the ecumenical councils, it's kind of like a domino effect. Like, you'll get to either orthodoxy or Catholicism, because those are just the two historic streams of apostolic Christianity that still affirms those kinds of things. And so if the church can act in an infallible way, and there's a mechanism by which the church can act with this charism of infallibility, and there's a recognizable hierarchy and things like that, it's pretty much de facto the Protestant position is invalidated. So I'm interested to throw around some ideas in the public sphere to kind of test out some developed arguments that I've been working on that are obviously based off of some historic responses to the Protestant movement, but also just framing them in a way that is easier for us to understand in this modern time. And so there's some old stuff, some new stuff, typical with these kind of pioneering of debate propositions. So anyways, that's all I have for you today. Next week, I'm hoping to respond to the second half of Redeemed Zoomer's video on ecumenical councils. I took a little bit of break because I went to the Catholic Answers conference, and I filmed with Trent Horn and Jimmy Aiken, and was hanging out with a bunch of apologists and other YouTubers and people that I know. And so it was a fun time. If you haven't seen those videos, make sure to head to the channel and watch them. We did some great stuff, some great interviews. Big shout out to Catholic Answers for setting up that studio and allowing us to record there. Obviously, Drew was very helpful in setting up a lot of that stuff as well. So big shout out to Drew. He made the camera and lighting and audio setup work very well. And I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I don't think so. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you have any suggestions about this debate or things of that nature, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. If you're new, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Get a lot of people to show up in the live, and make sure to have your questions ready if you would like to support this channel. We have multiple avenues for you to be able to do that. We have YouTube membership, we have Patreon, but we also have GoFundMe stuff if you want to do like one time versus like a regular giving. And so I hope that by our learning the faith, your faith will be strengthened as well. You have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.